All right, so today we're doing a bit of a deep dive into something very specific. We're looking at a pricing guide for auto glass in North Jersey.
That's right. It's from Windshield Replacement LLC, and it's a necessary topic.
It really is. I mean, we're trying to move beyond just, guessing what it costs when you hear that horrible sound on the highway.
That sickening crack, yeah. We all know it.
Exactly. So the mission here is to look at the hard numbers and figure out the real financial difference between, say, a small repair and a full-on replacement in this one specific area.
And the numbers, they're surprisingly distinct.
So let's start with the most common one, the windshield. For a minor chip, a little crack, the data says a repair is usually between $100 and $200.
It's the baseline, yeah. But it's important to remember that for a lot of drivers, that number is almost theoretical.
Because of insurance, right? But I've always wondered, did insurance companies actually cover this without a hassle, or is that just a story?
For the most part, it's true. And it's really just about risk management for them.
Oh, okay.
They would much rather pay, say, $150 to fill a chip today than $800 to replace the entire windshield next month when that tiny chip spiders across the whole thing.
So for the driver, the out-of-pocket cost is often just zero.
Frequently, yes.
Okay, so that brings us to the more painful side of this data. If the damage is too big for a simple fix, a full windshield replacement is listed anywhere from $200 to $800.
Mm-hmm.
That is a massive spread. What's driving that $600 gap? Is it just shop markup?
No, it's almost entirely the hardware and the labor that goes with it.
The hardware.
Yeah. If you're driving like a 2010 sedan with no frills, you're going to be at that low end, the $200 mark. It's just a piece of glass and a seal.
But for a newer car,
For a newer vehicle, you're not just paying for glass anymore. You're paying for the ADAS.
the advanced driver assistance systems.
Exactly. Your windshield is suddenly housing lane departure cameras, rain sensors, maybe even a heads-up display.
Mm-hmm.
When you replace that glass, you can't just pop it in. You have to recalibrate all of those sensors perfectly to the millimeter.
So the job isn't glass installation anymore, it's more like computer calibration.
Precisely. And that's where your $800 goes.
The guide also breaks down the other windows. Side window replacement is listed between $200 and $450, but the rear window is always more, $300 to $600. Why is the back window so much more?
Two big reasons. First is the materials.
Okay.
Your rear window almost always has that defrost grid embedded in the glass, which just costs more to make.
The little lines, yeah.
Right. Second, it's usually tempered glass. So when it breaks, it shatters into thousands of little pieces. The cleanup and prep for the new install is way more labor-intensive than a clean crack on a windshield.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, there was another part of this report I found fascinating, the geography. It suggests that where in North Jersey you are changes the price.
Yes, the Newark effect, as the source calls it.
It just seems a little counterintuitive. You'd think a busy city like Newark would have higher prices, not lower.
It all comes down to density and competition. In a place like Newark, you have a ton of repair shops, all fighting for the same business.
So that competition naturally drives prices down.
It does. And you also have to think about logistics. The warehouses that store all this auto glass are probably much closer to the transportation hubs in the city.
So a shop out in a quieter suburb has to pay more for delivery and has less competition pushing its prices down.
Exactly. If there's only one shop for 20 miles, they get to set the rate. In Newark, the market sets the rate.
So the big takeaway for anyone listening is pretty clear. The price can vary a lot, but it's actually predictable if you know your car's tech and, well, your zip code.
And I think the most important takeaway is just not to go in blind. I mean, the data we're using today is from Windshield Replacement LLC in Newark. They're very clear about offering free estimates.
So you can actually find out where you fall in that $200 to $800 range before you commit.
Right. Transparency is really the best way to avoid sticker shock.
Definitely better to check their site at windshieldreplacementllc.com or give them a call at 862-400-3780 than to just cross your fingers and hope for the best.
Absolutely. You know, looking at this whole trend, though, this move towards high-tech glass, it does raise a kind of a lingering question for me.
What's that?
As basically every surface on our cars becomes a sensor or a screen or some kind of smart device, are we just seeing the end of the cheap fix for good?
That's a sobering thought for the next time we're driving down the turnpike. Thanks for listening to this deep dive. Drive safe.